announcement of the first DC and Marvel crossover in 20 years, Batman Deadpool, I thought it would be fun to count down some other superhero team-ups, some odder than others. Here are the top 10 superhero crossovers that we want to see. Ben 10 and DC's Shazam. When we are talking superhero team-ups, the obvious choice would be like Ben 10 and Green Lantern because they're both green, they both transform green matter, but I can't help but feel like the better DC match is actually Shazam. Hear me out. Shazam is literally a kid at heart, and it's been touched on quite a few times that he can feel a disconnect from his Justice League super co-workers sometimes because of this age difference. Many versions of the character across media make it clear that he still has the wonder that comes with youth, which when you're a superhero that's been doing this, in some cases since you were Billy's age, that can be hard to keep up with. But Ben 10, the 10 isn't just for the amount of aliens he can turn into, it's also his age, the same age that Billy was when he got his powers. Ben and Billy are going through the same stuff, okay, like maybe that might be a stretch, but the basics are the same. Plus, Ben's power, when you think about it, is kind of similar to Shazam's. They both transform into stronger versions of themselves in some way, Billy into the hero Shazam and Ben into the alien of his choice. I think that they would get along and be equally as excited about each other's abilities. Number 9, I was like, I could be serious and go with the obvious choices for this whole thing, or I could have a little bit of fun. And on that note, number 9, Marvel's Squirrel Girl and DC's Batman. This one is mainly because I saw a text post that read, if Squirrel Girl was dropped in Gotham City, how long would it take for her to realize that Batman cannot talk to bats? And this is a really important question, and I would argue actually one of the most important questions in the entire universe, so weigh in the comment section down below. But I got to thinking, Squirrel Girl and Batman would be an iconic duo. The Dark Knight is used to working with hyperactive young superheroes, although the Robins aren't usually able to chew through steel due to the fact that they have proportional squirrel powers in a human body, but still. They both have animal names, they both are incredibly smart, they both throw their inspiration. Batman with his batarangs and Squirrel Girl with her live squirrels. Where they differ is kind of hilarious because I feel like in their respective universes and in our world, people overestimate Batman and underestimate Squirrel Girl. Like, Batman has become more a legend than a man. Oftentimes people assume that he has superpowers just because he has that aura to him. With Squirrel Girl, the base for her powers, squirrels, is so ridiculous that people kind of forget how powerful Doreen Green can be. Like, she can lift 800 pounds and beat Galactus. Together, this duo would be unstoppable. Also, Squirrel Girl would totally win over Bruce's son Damian because he loves animals so much, and when you get Robin, you get Batman. Number 8, Invincible's Kid Omni-Man and DC's Robin. Personally, I would love to see a team up between Kid Omni-Man from Invincible and Robin from DC. Literally any of the Robins would be a fine choice, but I'm partial to Dick Grayson's Robin simply because they share a last name, Richard Grayson and Oliver Grayson, and I just think that they would have a lot of fun with that. The other combo I am partial to would be Richard's Nightwing and Damian's Robin, and then we would have their counterparts in Mark and Oliver. The characters are visually quite similar, of course, but their brotherly bond and trajectory of the relationship also share a lot of similar qualities. Kid Omni-Man has had a bit of an impulsive streak interspersed by violence, something that Dick Grayson or Damian Wayne do share in a sense. Dick Grayson with his determination to bring in his parents' Terminator, and Damian Wayne with his Al Ghul upbringing. Number 7, Marvel's Rocket Raccoon and DC's Cyborg. I really do want to see a team up with Rocket Raccoon and Cyborg because, and this is an MCU moment, remember in Infinity War when Rocket saw Bucky's metal arm for the first time and spent like 80% of his screen time either talking about it or trying to steal it? Yeah, I just really need to see that raccoon's face when he lays his eyes on Cyborg for the first time. I also love them as a duo because they are both good, but one is more lawful good and the other is 100% chaotic good. Rocket is also incredibly intelligent, probably not as smart as Victor, but smart enough to hold an engaging conversation that I think would both surprise and delight the man. And once Rocket stops trying to dismantle Victor, the characters could bond over the fact that they feel more machine than real and the mental hurdles they've had to overcome to accept where they are now. Number 6, Marvel's Punisher and Image Comics' Spawn. Spawn and the Punisher are the same but different. They share a military origin story, ruthless methods, and a menacing demeanor, but different when it comes to their abilities. The Punisher is a highly trained human man, and Spawn is a hellspawn with almost unlimited power. Still, they would make a formidable team as relentless anti-heroes, each driven by a personal sense of justice and vengeance. Spawn, formerly Al Simmons, is a highly decorated US Marine and CIA operative who, after being betrayed and eliminated, returns to Earth as the supernatural, immortal, powerful Hellspawn. The Punisher, Frank Castle, is also a former Marine whose family was eliminated by the mob, leading him to wage a one-man war on crime using his exceptional tactical skills, weaponry expertise, and unyielding determination. Both characters operate outside the law. They are unafraid to use lethal force against criminals, and they're haunted by their pasts, which fuel their uncompromising crusades. Their complementary skills, Punisher's military strategy and firepower, with Spawn's supernatural abilities, would allow them to take on threats both human and otherworldly. Moreover, their mutual understanding of sacrifice, loss, and the moral gray areas of vigilantism would foster a unique, if uneasy, camaraderie, making them a compelling and effective team against the darkest corners of the criminal underworld and beyond. Halfway through, and with kind of an obscure choice, DC's Beast Boy and American Dragon Jake Long. In fact, if you told me that American Dragon Jake Long and Beast Boy were cousins, I would believe you. Beast Boy's natural state is a green boy, but he has a connection to something called the Red that grants him the ability to morph his body into any animal he knows, and sometimes into things that one would argue are not animals, like dragons. And speaking of dragons, Jake Long. Jake Long is the title character of a Disney Channel show, and he is half human, half dragon, meaning he can switch between those two states at will. There was a brief period where his power was augmented and he could shapeshift into anything, including other people, but that was short-lived. The personalities of these characters are very similar. They both have gone through the growing pains of gaining powers that kind of take over your life, and they both are green. Jake with his hair and Beast Boy, well, all over. Number 4. Miraculous Ladybug and Marvel's Spider-Man. Miraculous Ladybug and Spider-Man would make a fantastic team thanks to their complementary abilities, quick thinking, shared dedication to protecting others, and they're both bugs. Ladybug's powers of creation, agility, and her signature Lucky Charm ability allow her to generate the perfect tool for any situation, often turning the tide in battle with her resourcefulness and strategic mind. Spider-Man, meanwhile, brings superhuman strength, speed, agility, and his unique spider senses, which warn him of danger before it strikes. Both heroes are known for their determination, selflessness, and quick wit, traits that make them adaptable and resilient in the face of any threat. Together, Ladybug's inventive problem-solving and Spider-Man's scientific genius and reflexes would make them nearly unstoppable, able to tackle complex villains and disasters with creativity and teamwork. Their mutual commitment to doing what's right, even at a personal cost, would foster trust and synergy, making them not just a powerful duo in combat, but also inspiring role models for hope and heroism. I also think Peter would have a great time learning all about the little Kwamis, and both red costumed heroes have had romances with cat-themed counterparts that wear all black. Number 3. Wonder Woman and the Powerpuff Girls. I would love to see the Powerpuff Girls meet Wonder Woman. I imagine that they would absolutely freak out or just be in awe of her for different reasons. Blossom because Diana is such a strong leader, Bubbles because she's very compassionate, and Buttercup because she is like the ultimate Amazon fighter. Truly, Blossom would be the one freaking out the most because in season 3 of the show, the sisters decided to draw inspiration from their favorite comic superheroes. Blossom's is Freedom Gal, who is clearly just Wonder Woman, but because the pups are so young, Diana could easily fall into a mentorship role for them. They could also bond over how they all came into the world because it is kind of similar when you think about it. One crafted by magic and clay, and the other by science, sugar, spice, and everything nice. Both created with love and care. Technically, the Powerpuff Girls and Wonder Woman have interacted before. In either like 1998 or 2002, Cartoon Network aired a commercial in which Wonder Woman and Aquaman were captured by the Legion of Doom, and the Powerpuff Girls came to their rescue, but obviously that was too short to really get a story going, and I want to see Wonder Woman actually fight with the girls instead of just being saved by them. Number 2. Dark Horse Comics' Hellboy and DC's John Constantine. Hellboy and Constantine could complement each other's strengths when it comes to approaching supernatural threats. Hellboy is a physically powerful and resilient demon with straightforward punch-first tactics and a strong sense of duty, making him an intimidating frontline combatant. But in contrast, Constantine is cunning, quick thinking, an occult detective, and con artist who excels in magical knowledge, trickery, and manipulation, often outsmarting his foes rather than overpowering them. Constantine's deep experience with the occult and ability to devise complex plans would balance Hellboy's directness, and while Hellboy's brute strength and durability would protect Constantine in close combat. Together, their combination of brains, brawn, and mystical expertise would allow them to tackle a wide range of supernatural challenges more effectively than either could alone. Their contrasting personalities, Hellboy's straightforwardness and Constantine's sarcastic cunning, would also be a great dynamic partnership, blending humor, grit, and resourcefulness in their fight against dark forces. And finally, number 1. Okay, so this next duo is more likely to fight each other, probably than work together, but Marvel's Deadpool and DC's Snowflame. Now, I know we all know who Deadpool is, but for anyone unfamiliar with Snowflame, your piece ends today. Snowflame was a New Guardians villain introduced in the 80s. It's important to know that the New Guardians were created to handle more mature topics that regular comics geared towards Hollywood's kids just couldn't, but that also meant that they fought some crazy villains. Case in point, Snowflame. He gets his powers from and is addicted to the type of powdery snow that you set on fire. It shares a nickname with Coca-Cola. Yeah, I just think that Deadpool would have a field day with this guy. I mean, we all saw that scene in Deadpool and Wolverine where Wade and Al just list like 100 different nicknames for that stuff. I can't imagine what would happen if Deadpool actually met Snowflame and learned his life story. The jokes that this man would tell, the fourth wall wouldn't even exist anymore. Also, Snowflame once went down in a comic because he went to snort his power, but accidentally snorted a poison dart frog. I mean, come on, the Deadpool jokes write themselves at this point. But what do you think? Let us know who your dream super team up would be in the comments section down below. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye, nerds!